You have to do it excited. You have to be excited when you do it. Like, remember, you're coming out of a really cool superhero themed song, and you have to be like, welcome. Like, show me what you would do.
Must wait. All right. Welcome. No, that was awesome. I'm trying to do
This isn't a Dracula show. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was trying to do Michael Caine from Batman Begins.
This is not Dracula. Be excited. Do it.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Think Michelangelo. That's what you're trying to go for.
Booyakasha! No, I'm kidding. That's awful. Okay. Welcome to the internet.
Take 2. Take 4. And we're off. Welcome to Capes, Cowls, and Conversations. We're back again, and we're going to keep coming back and talking about this, and hopefully you're going to come back and join us. We have a good time doing it, even when you hear us fight like we did a little bit earlier on a previous episode. We're going to argue about some of this stuff, and that's just how it goes, but hopefully you enjoy it just as much as we do. Today should be fun because we're going to talk about something I have absolutely no interest in, and we're going to talk about something that he has absolutely no interest in. And by that, I mean, I'm Tim Neal, host of Capes, Cowls, and Conversation, along with my son and co-host Cameron Neal. And I think he's wanted to talk about video games and video game awards. Go for it.
Yay.
I stole the intro because you were cracking yourself up trying to even do it.
Yeah, that bombed.
You better practice because I'm turning it over to you one time. And there's no reshoots in this.
Oh.
So you better practice. It's going to happen. What's going on in the world of video games? The world of comic book related video games.
Well, for starters, Marvel Rivals came out. Good game. Really fun. It's a 6v6 hero shooter. But you've never played Overwatch, so I don't know if you know what that means.
No, but I saw an absolutely hilarious cartoon today on Facebook Reels. It was a guy who looked like he was probably 14, and he was holding a shotgun, and there was a little dog-looking character with the word Overwatch put over it. And the dog was like, "No, please, you don't have to do it. No, you don't have to do it. No, please." And the kid is feeling kind of guilty about it. And the dog starts doing the floss to keep the kid from shooting him. And the kid's starting to cry. And he's like, "No, don't do the dance. You'll make this harder than it needs to be." And the dog's like, "You don't have to do it." And he keeps flossing faster and faster. And then this giant looking dog thing leans against the window, rubs its bare chest against the window, and the boy looks over at it and accidentally shoots the dog. And on the big thing, it said Marvel Rivals.
Oh my God.
So
It's good. It's like from a story standpoint, it's pretty good. Oh, yeah, right. From a story standpoint, it's pretty good because there is a background story to the whole game. Well, there's like 4 of them. And there's already 33 characters. Which
oh my gosh.
No, like that's crazy. Like
that's insane.
For a start, well, no, for a starting roster in a fighter game, that's pretty big.
It's like Mortal Kombat.
Well, even in Mortal Kombat, you don't get 33 characters right off the bat sometimes. Like, no, Mortal Kombat 1, I think started with, oh boy. I should do, well, okay, I should say older Mortal Kombat games probably started with more characters. Newer ones don't, but that's because they can
We'll just take your word for it.
They'll add DLC.
Anyway, tell me about this game that I'll never play. Because it obviously has you excited, and it obviously has some Facebook art creators excited. It obviously has some people that are super interested. And then I'll tell you why I'm not when you tell me about this game. Go
Okay.
ahead.
23 characters, how many that Mortal Kombat started with. But yeah, so Marvel Rivals, it's kind of there's different types of game modes. No, not game modes. You go in and you have to fight other people and protect like a point, or like walk a vehicle to another end of the map and like fight other people. But the main objective is kind of boring. The most fun part is just basically killing other people that are other Marvel characters.
You enjoy that?
Yes.
Killing other people.
Okay. No. Okay. This coming from the guy who plays Fortnite every night religiously.
I do. And it's fun.
But yeah. But that's pretty much your main objective. All the different characters have different abilities based on their characters though. So and Spider-Man is the highest learning curve right now, I think. Like I tried to play him. I was like, it's Spider-Man and Wolverine. I'm gonna play those two characters. I'm never touching Spider-Man again.
I doubt that's true. It's probably set up so that the only way you can win at the end is to be using Spider-Man efficiently. That's how gaming works.
Well, no,
they will make a level so hard that you can't win without them.
Well, no, there is no, like, the level isn't the main objective. Your main objective is
there will be somebody who gets so good at playing that you won't be able to beat them without Spider-Man.
No. No. Spider-Man is exactly what he is in Civil War. He is stay back and shoot your webs at people, and then you're basically a glass cannon. Your punches, you walk up to someone and you could do some damage. But if you take even one punch, you're dead. Like
if you take one punch as Spider-Man, that means you're a pretty terrible Spider-Man. He hardly ever gets hit.
He doesn't have a dodge mechanic though. There's no. I mean, you can web away, I guess.
So this game sucks.
No, it's fun. You just have to play the right characters. Wolverine is my favorite character in the game.
Okay,
and it's great. And there's also like a large lore to the story. Like, for instance, the main Captain America in the game, he didn't wake up in like 2010. He woke up in like 2099. So he has a little bit more gadgets and gear.
Yes. Captain America always struck me as a gadget guy, like forever. When I look at Captain America and what he does, I've always thought, man, he's a big gadget guy.
Like, he doesn't use like full on like guns and gadgets and stuff. His shield is more like
his gadget.
No, yes, but no. Like his shield has like holographic effects on it, and it looks cool. It doesn't add to the game.
Well,
but it's a fun game.
It is great to hear that his shield prefers looks over function.
No, it still functions. Like it's still real. It does function.
Okay.
Yeah, like it blocks. You can throw it. You get like dashing attacks. You can sprint faster. You could sprint and use the block, and it will create a bashing effect.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like superhero games at all. The worst part of Fortnite is when they add superpowers into it. That's a fact. It drives people out of the game. They watch their playership go way down when they add superpowers to it. It's awful. And really,
I think Marvel's.
I think that game you tried to get me involved in, Avengers, was it Marvel's Avengers?
Yeah, back in.
That was so god awful.
What?
That was the worst video game maybe ever made.
Play it. You watched me play it.
I played, and it wasn't fun.
You play? Oh, you played in the you played in the open beta. That's not the same thing.
It wasn't fun at all.
Or the closed beta.
I don't even know how to describe how not fun it was.
Okay, again, you played in the beta, and then also the game itself wasn't very good.
It wasn't very good, and I've never seen a superhero game that lived up. I went to Sixth Dimension and played the Spider-Man swing through the city.
Batman,
what's it called? Swing through the city. Virtual reality game. Awful.
Batman.
Just absolutely awful.
Batman Arkham. You have to give it a try.
I just don't even. I've watched you play that too. I don't want to shoot batarangs at buildings and try to swing to buildings and
you can, but that's not
grapples, not
but
batarang.
you don't want to bash people's faces in with combos. Like
no, I don't.
what?
That's dumb.
It's fun. It's like the most fun of a fighting game I think of. Like not like a fighting mechanic in a game I've ever had.
If someone's gonna make a good superhero game, it needs to be on the level of GTA 5. Open world, do whatever you want, but also perform missions, but do whatever you want.
Batman Arkham.
I don't think so.
Spider-Man.
I haven't played Spider-Man. I know a lot of people talk about Spider-Man. I just can't. Spider-Man to me, it just, I don't know. And in fact, all of these games, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. All of these games, the fighting mechanics are dumb. Like you can kick, but you can't control what you can do with their body. Like a kick is a kick, a round kick is a round kick, a punch or an uppercut. But
yeah, but you mix them.
I know, but you can't control what you do with them. It really just turns into a bunch of butt mashing crap. It's awful. At least when it comes to a game like Fortnite, I know when I turn and look at a guy and pull the trigger that I'm shooting at the guy.
You can't aim your attacks at people.
Barely
specifically.
though. Barely though.
No, you can lock
especially like when you've got like 20 guys attacking you and you're Batman. And you're just kind of button mashing to hopefully kick all 20 guys off of you. It's really dumb.
Batman didn't have a good auto lock on system for like you will sometimes go for the wrong person you weren't aiming for at all.
Right. It's dumb.
But that's Batman. Spider-Man doesn't really have. You do. No, Spider-Man does have that in the first one.
All of them do. It's a fatal flaw of superhero video games. They all have that.
Yeah. I mean, it's still there still are combos to get people off of you, so you don't run into that issue though. You just have to learn the combos.
That issue is a prevalent issue in all of those types of games. That's why I don't like them. Now, if you want to talk Madden, I'm down. NCAA football, I'm down. I mean, those guys are like superheroes. They don't.
I can't stand Madden.
Fortnite.
I've tried playing Madden recently. I can't get into it.
Fortnite, I'm down. Call of Duty, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree.
It's too real for me. I don't like it. I don't want my violence to be real. That's why I like Fortnite, because when you shoot them, they turn into a bunch of digital squares.
That's your issue with it? My issue with it is the first person perspective.
Well, there's first person in Fortnite now.
Yeah, it's coming out soon. I don't know.
No, it's out.
Oh, Ballistics came out?
You can do it.
I hate it.
And also you can change your views on your
first person perspective is only good for me personally when you're in a horror game.
I don't play those games.
I know you don't, but I mean, like when you're in a horror game, you know, and you're locked into a first person perspective and you can't see behind you and you're looking around the room and like something pops up, like that scares the crap out of me. But awesome. That's the only time that a first person perspective works for me. I don't like first person shooters because the camera is just awful. I don't like it. I don't like looking in through someone else's eyes to look at something unless it's a horror game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, but
or VR. VR is a good one too because you can actually see your peripherals.
I don't like fighting games that the fighting isn't realistic, and it never will be. And I don't really care for too much realism. It's escapism for me. The fighting or the video games are escapism for me because I'm old and I have enough real life.
You want fighting to be realistic?
Yeah. I mean, I want the moves to be realistic.
Yeah, they are
within a. No, they're not.
Spider-Man, they literally designed his base combat off of real life martial arts.
Again, I haven't seen or played Spider-Man.
And Batman is the same thing.
But Batman is not. I mean, I've watched you play it, and I'm just like, this is nonsense.
What?
It's nonsense.
They based it on real life martial arts moves. That's what the animations are. They did that. He's peak human too, so you can't like he's peak physical human condition. Like you can't base that on how you would fight.
No, it's awful.
What?
It's awful.
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I don't even know how to. I wish I knew how to explain it, but I have played them.
Right.
I've even played your Batman game a couple of times. You've handed it to me, and I've played it,
Okay. What about Mortal Kombat?
and I don't. So I like Mortal Kombat because it's fake and there's some fun to it, but I don't like left and right scrolling games that don't allow you to fight in 3D.
Oh, okay. Mortal.
So there is that in Batman, the Batman game you let me play that I do like, that you can actually move within a third dimension. It's not just left and right.
Yeah, Arkham Knight.
I do like that, but it again, it turns into button mashing.
I think.
Which I think less button mashing in Mortal Kombat than in your Batman game. Like I know the combos in Mortal Kombat that I'm trying to do. In fact, Mortal Kombat and what's the DC version?
DC versus Mortal Kombat. That's what it's called.
No, the DC.
Oh, Injustice.
Injustice.
Well,
Injustice is a similar fighting style. I enjoy it better than I enjoy your Batman game because I mean I get what I'm doing and it's not necessarily button mashing. I just felt like that's all that the Batman fighting style turns into is just
the way Batman Arkham Knight works is the combos are gadgets for the most part, not necessarily moves. There are some that are moves, but most of them are him incorporating his gadgets into combat, and then you mash square.
That's never going to be fun for me.
And that's kind of understandable. That I can understand to a degree. Other than the one time that you'll press triangle to counter a guy, and then you're back to pressing square. So I'll give you that. I
will say Injustice 1 and 2 got me into liking fighting games again after a childhood of Mortal Kombat and Tekken. I could play Injustice 1 and 2 and enjoy that left and right fighting, but I would rather take that game and turn it into a third dimension.
So there is one game that we've played that did that, and I don't remember if you remember what it was, but it was DC versus Mortal Kombat. They actually had a 3D environment you would walk around.
I don't remember it.
You still move sort of 2D around the area, but the camera like rotates around the area once you start knocking people in different directions.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But it's like a 2013. Like it's old. It's an old game.
Well, then they need to update it because that I could get into.
Yeah, they have
Mortal Kombat in a third dimension. I could get into.
That would be fun. I could see that being really fun.
I liked what they did in Injustice, making the environment more playable. Like you could grab things and throw them at people. Making the environment part of the fight was cool. I just don't like. So if your Marvel Rivals game is more like the Batman, what's the fighting style on it? Tell me about it.
So trigger is your main attack.
Guns.
No. No. I mean, if you're using Punisher, actually there is. So that's the cool thing, right? It's not just combat. There are shooter characters. So like Black Widow is a sniper, and she does have the ability to switch to combat, but you can just shoot. You can just like sit in this position and just shoot at people. Punisher is all guns. Hawkeye uses his bow, and then like you have a slashing attack with a sword because they kind of did that same thing that Avengers did, where they didn't make him outright Ronin, but they incorporated some Ronin stuff, so he's not just a shooter character. And then, but yeah, most of it is just pressing the trigger and then using some side abilities.
Are you in some kind of city?
Yeah, you're in Wakanda.
Are you able to move through buildings?
Oh,
and
it's
do
not
stuff,
it's
or is
not,
it left or right?
It's not left and right. It is open. It's not an open world either. It's just a map. There's several different maps and different environments.
That sounds stupid.
I think you just need to play it. I don't think you're having trouble visualizing it.
I'm having trouble visualizing it. It sounds dumb.
You think you need to play it? Like it is fun.
All right, you're gonna have to show it to me off here.
off here. Yeah, later.
You're gonna have to show it to me off here.
Um,
Okay. So exciting news. First of all, we are going to be going from just audio after these first 3 episodes. Very shortly, we're going to become a video podcast, working on pulling that together. So when I say you can show me on screen in about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Let's get past Christmas probably, and you can show me on screen, and we'll do this as a video podcast. Hopefully anybody watching can put up with just voices for another couple of weeks. And if you like what you're hearing, obviously like, share, and subscribe to the podcast so that you get notifications when we drop new episodes. We're going to try to drop new episodes every week. So that's exciting news for us. And then the next thing, you said there is a video game awards coming?
yeah. The oh,
Struggling today.
yeah, that was bad. Okay. So the video game awards, I'm actually going to pull up some stuff real quick. Because this year, I don't feel like I don't have a hot take on this because I've seen a lot of people complaining about it this year. But they did a couple things that I am not a fan of. Oh, did they already announce it this year? No, it's just nominees. Okay. Video Game Awards are on December 12th, by the way. So
General Flag.
Sorry.
Is that our next segment?
Yeah.
Okay. Crud. Whoopsie. Where is it? Why is it? It's
Well, I tell you what, while you look that up, I'm going to play a trailer for Creature Commandos. Anybody who is following the James Gunn universe, and we're going to be talking about that, should know that Creature Commandos is out episode 1 and 2 on Max, and we are going to be talking about those here shortly. And I'm going to play the trailer for it and watch it, and you can listen along. I'll tell you what I think.
General Flag, you found yourself in the middle of an international incident.
Oh, princess.
The United States is in the business of saving the damn world by any means necessary.
So apparently Amanda Waller is in control of a whole bunch of teams.
yes.
Congress said we can't use human prisoners. These assholes aren't human.
Oh, she swears because it's on Max.
Yeah.
Who is she? We call her the bride.
I was born here.
Who's
Actually,
Jason and the Argonauts?
I can tell you that she does not say that in the actual show.
Say what?
The bride. They call her the
What is
bride.
that thing?
The weasel. We know it has what it takes to survive.
They did not have to bring the weasel from that
It's
trashy.
Nina Mazursky.
So that's another thing. We'll talk about that because I don't think that's canon anymore.
Last one is
Because Rick
G.I.
Flag died in that, if you
Robot.
remember.
Cheers to the Tin Man.
I know you all aren't exactly enthusiastic about this mission.
I didn't realize I had a choice.
You said you wanted me to be a hero.
This is like James Gunn's next attempt at making a decent Suicide Squad.
We're supposed to be on the same
That's kind of what it
team.
is.
It really is.
But that's what Peacemaker was, which is also really good.
Shish kebab.
You're always so hyperbolically violent. You need therapy.
You wanted monsters. You got monsters.
Die, Nazi.
He's not a Nazi GI.
Oh, okay.
So I watched the first episode. Well, part of the first episode, the introduction of all the characters, and where he says, what's her name? And she goes, that they call her the bride. That's not what happens in the episode. She goes, we don't know her name. So
Interesting.
there's that. But I mean, I'm going to give it a shot because we're doing this podcast and because I know you're a huge James Gunn fan and I'm not.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give him a shot here. And
What do you
And,
mean? Well, hold on. You're not?
I mean, I'm not really. I'm not. Guardians was good. Guardians 2 was not quite as good. Guardians 3 was less good. They get progressively worse every time he makes a movie. Suicide Squad was trash.
Oh, please.
Absolute trash.
Hold on.
So
I gotta pull up a sound bite. So you gotta add a sound bite to that thing.
Suicide Squad was
One that
trash.
says, "Oh, brother, this guy stinks."
Okay, yeah. Here's your soundbite.
I did not.
Crickets.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my thing on this show specifically is that it kind of makes Suicide Squad not canon now, and also Peacemaker partially not canon. I'm wondering how they're going to address that because Peacemaker kills Rick Flag in Suicide Squad, right? And then Peacemaker, the show, literally deals with that in the first episode. And now Rick Flag is leading the Creature Commandos?
I don't know. I only watched part of the first episode. So we're going to have to get into that and we will discuss it at length as a series as soon as it finishes coming out.
Fair enough.
But episode 1 and 2 are out right now. So get on and watch those on Max. And did you get your Video Game Awards stuff pulled up?
I did.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a couple of these because it's funny that you're probably going to be like, I have never heard of this. And I expect that.
Care.
Yeah, I expect that. When I tell you that I don't care or have never heard of some of these games, you're going to be like, really? Because I follow games all the time and there's stuff on here that I'm like, what the hell? So number 1 is Astrobot, which I have heard of. It's a PlayStation game, and it's a PlayStation exclusive game. And PlayStation has this thing where they have to they attempt to be at the Game of Year Awards show every year. They have to have a game in it, at least one game. So Astrobot was their game this year, even though it totally should have been something else. Because Astrobot's one of those that people really liked. I didn't really care for it. I didn't even think it was that interesting, mostly because it's their new attempt at Little Big Planet without using Little Big Planet. I don't even know if you know what that is. It's really old.
I remember seeing it.
Sackboy.
I remember seeing it on our console at some point and going, what the crap?
It's really fun. It's a fun game. And I'm not saying that Astrobot isn't a fun game. I'm just saying I don't think it deserves to be at the Game of Year Awards. There's this other game called Balatro, which this is going to sound really reductive, and it kind of is because apparently there's a story to it. But the 90% of what the game loop is, it's playing poker.
I could get into that. Maybe.
That's all it is. And it's in the game. It's the second game in the Game of the Year Awards.
What's wrong with poker?
Poker isn't bad. It's not a new game mechanic. From what I've heard, it's got a good story, but what makes
why is there a story to a poker game?
That's what I'm like. Why? And then on top of that, like it's a game I never I think came out like 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. It's not even old. Like in this year, it kind of soft dropped before the Game of the Year Awards, and it's in the Game of the Year Awards.
Weird.
Yeah, and then the next one's Black Myth Wukong, which is not bad. It's got good fighting mechanics. However, it shouldn't be in the Game of the Year Awards. Or if it is, it should be competing against a different game called Stellar Blade, which also has really great combat mechanics. but it's got a better story. It's got its own visual style. That's the other thing. It's got nominated for another category where it's got great visual direction, but it's got literally realistic graphics for its visual direction.
What's wrong with that?
No, nothing except that, Call of Duty does that every year. Baldur's Gate did that.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate. We get literal realistic visuals of demons and hell and stuff. I don't know what Baldur's Gate is.
It shows.
Isn't that the Dungeons and Dragons game?
Yes. It's just Dungeons and Dragons brought to a video game, pretty much.
I'm just gonna frustrate you talking about video games.
Please don't talk about Baldur's
So
Gate.
we have realistic demons in Baldur's Gate.
Realistically looking demons. Like they look like they could be real people. Like
They look like they could be demons.
It looks like
So
if
you know what
were,
a demon looks like.
If you were watching a movie, right? It looks like it could be a person in makeup.
I wonder if they do a better job than the show Evil does. Evil projects.
Well, they're not
demons
demons.
Demons as
They're not. There are devils, but they're not. They're not demon. It's not the same.
What's
thing.
the difference?
It's not the same as like God, and it's not like Christianity devils. Like, not like. Like you're not. Oh my god. It's hard to describe. It's really hard to just because it's hard to differentiate Dungeons and Dragons from reality because you kind of have to like visualize it in your head, and most people are going to visualize
Because
it
it's
with reality.
not reality.
Oh my god! Yes, I know, but I'm just saying it has a realistic art direction like most games. Black
Okay.
Myth Wukong has a more realistic art direction to it. So when you tell me it's getting visual direction, but when a game like Stellar Blade actually has a visual style to it, and that's not even in the visual direction category at all either. Like that game got screwed this
So
year.
you're criticizing video games now.
To a degree, yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm criticizing the awards. Oh, and then number 4. This one bugs me for so many reasons. Because it feels like it shouldn't be here. And I'm gonna have to describe this to you because you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? Elden Ring got DLC this year. And it's like a 90-hour long DLC.
Okay.
But it's in the Game of the Year awards for Game of the Year, as if it was its own individual game.
The DLC.
The DLC.
Well, I mean, at 90 hours, it's pretty much its own individual
Right.
game.
So like it's one of those things where it's like, I can see it, but also over other things that came out this year. That's what's in the game of the you went like you're basically telling, like, to me it sounds like you're telling people there was nothing impressive this year at all. The only thing impressive enough, we had to go so far low that we had to go to DLC. Like that's insane. That's stupid.
So behind all of these games, is it all big studios? Is that the thing? Big studios drive these games
to a degree. Like Sony is behind Astrobot. Bandai Namco is behind Elden Ring. Square Enix is behind Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which that should be in the Game of the Year awards. I'm not sure.
So that's your pick.
No, my pick would have been probably Stellar Blade or what else came out this year? There was a bunch of stuff that came out this year. It's just hard to tell because they didn't put it on the list.
Well, out of what's on the list, your pick is
What's on the list, it's either going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for me, or that would be my pick. I haven't played Metaphor Rifantanzio, but I've heard it's pretty good, and that was made by Sega, another big company. So
it is all big companies basically driving Game of the Year.
pretty much, except for Balatro. Balatro is a indie game, I believe. And that's a good thing. I do think indie games should make it into the Game of the Year awards.
I mean, you have to get real careful with that. And I'm going to make the comparison of the Oscars because the Oscars movie of the year tends to be a bunch of indie garbage that nobody ever saw.
See, the problem with the distinction on that is with big name studios, a lot of the times they just do some really garbage games and then they make it to the Game of the Year awards. Whereas indie developers actually work on a really big open world or like a really cool
I think
story.
indie movie makers work on a really good movie. I mean, they try to make the best movie they can with the budget they have.
Right, but I also feel like they're pushing an agenda with some of their movies. Some indie movies really are just like there to push an agenda and just say we're here. Like, I do feel like that sometimes.
You don't think big studio movies are pushing an agenda?
I do, but like if you're not gonna put Endgame into a category, and that's like the biggest movie of the year, like Robert Downey Jr. should have won won an Oscar for that.
I agree.
Should have.
I agree.
But that didn't even make it into the category.
No, that's my point. Like indie, when it becomes about indie stuff, then all of a sudden, well-deserving
it should
big
be
budget
equal.
things get
It should be
blocked
equal.
out.
There
I would agree
are
with you. I would agree with you. It should be more. There should be some criteria that helps both sides of that.
Now, to be fair, I don't think I've seen a lot of movies come out in the last few years that I've just been like, oh, that's good. But like that deserves to be there. Like Marvel, why? Like there was a time where I thought Marvel should have made it a couple different times in the last couple years. I couldn't say that. Maybe for visual direction in some instances, like Multiverse of Madness probably should have gone to visual direction. Probably. But I can't put that story up in the Oscars. Me personally. That just wasn't that good. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, on the other hand, I feel like that probably should have been
Thrown in the trash.
in the Oscars.
In the Oscars cut list.
No, in the Oscars. It was good. Are you telling me you didn't you didn't feel anything when you saw Rocket's entire all of his friends die? Like,
I mean,
like that hurt.
there are things about Guardians 3 that were good. I don't care for the overall movie.
I'm trying to understand what you don't like about it because when I look at it, I can't see like it's a full picture. I can't see them like one part of that movie working without some of this. Oh, that was this. Working without all of it, you know, like it's a full movie. Like there's nothing I would cut out of that movie at all. All of Peter Quill's stuff with Gamora too was just hard to watch, but in like the best way.
I didn't think it was hard to watch. I just thought it was unnecessary.
He just shouldn't react to seeing his.
He reacted in Avengers Endgame.
Right, but then she disappeared, which is
Right.
why he went looking for her at the end of Avengers Endgame.
If she wanted him to find her, she wouldn't have disappeared.
Right, but then they run into each other, so he has to react.
They didn't need to run into each other. It's a big, wide open space out there.
She was directly involved in saving Rocket. She had to be there. She was there.
I'll go back and watch it. I don't remember being terribly impressed with it.
Huh?
I didn't love the story. I liked seeing Rocket's background. That's about it. I don't like how they dumbed down Drax even worse than he was already dumb. I don't like how they dumbed down Mantis even worse than she was already dumb. I don't like how they lifted up Sean Gunn's character to like suddenly losing the leader of the Ravagers. Why am I blanking?
Yondu.
Thank you. Losing Yondu does not elevate him to better than what he was. He was already an idiot.
Yeah, he's still kind of an idiot.
Kind of, right.
But
They tried to make
didn't-
him more respectable, less of an idiot, but he's
He
just an
took
idiot.
over the Ravagers.
Right, which wouldn't happen in real life.
He was his second in command.
Oh my God.
I don't know what you want me to say. That was Yondu's second in command. Like,
And he was an idiot. The Ravagers would disband before he would lead them. It's
had
bad. It's really bad.
I think you got to rewatch it.
it's really bad.
because he was a great character in 2 and in 3.
No. But no.
What?
No. Well, first of all, 2 was a god awful movie in the first place. But no. So anyway,
But yeah, then just going into like other stuff. The best game direction is all the same games that I just listed. There's nothing in here that I was just like I don't understand. There's games that I played this year that I was like, that was really good. I want that to be in, like, that should be.
So
in
you're
game.
saying it's a lot like the movies. They're out of touch with the gamer.
I feel like this year it really is. Best narrative is probably the only one where I can go, yeah, that's good. Like Silent Hill 2 is in here, Hellblade is in here, Metaphors in here. So like that best narrative was really good. But as far as overall game of the year, yeah, I feel like that was completely out of touch with the gaming community this year.
Okay.
It's rough. Like this is like Stellar Blade made it for music. It has one of the best combat systems of the video game of this year, and it's getting nominated for music. It has one of the best game visual designs for a game I've seen in this year. What's funny is Star Wars Outlaws also made it, which I don't know why. That game is garbage.
Well, I'm gonna have to rely on you because I have no
knowledge. Yeah.
No knowledge and no interest.
It's just a really disappointing year for the Game of the Year awards. Like last year, that was stacked. It had Spider-Man 2, it had Baldur's Gate 3, it had Star Wars Jedi Survivor, it had another Final Fantasy game. It had a ton of stuff in there that I was like, oh my God, everything in that list deserved to be there. And it was hard to choose except for the fact that Baldur's Gate was there and it deserved every award it got.
Okay.
Like it got like 9, 8
Well,
or 9
all I heard
awards.
about, it seems like, was Spider-Man 2. I heard about it not just from you. It was in every commercial. It was in every website. It was in every. If I went to look up reviews of movies or reviews of anything, I would get a review of Spider-Man 2, the video game.
So Spider-Man 2 was good and I loved it, but it wasn't great. It deserved to be there for a couple of different things. Like Yuri Lowenthal's voice acting in that game is spectacular. He deserved to be nominated for Best Actor. I got a Lego man.
Put it down.
Sorry. Anyway, he deserved to be nominated for that. But the game itself, I mean, again, Sony has to push a game. Like, I don't know why. That's them every year. They have to have they pushed Spider-Man 2 early so it would be in the Game of the Year awards for 2023.
It obviously worked because I saw it everywhere.
But that was their marketing push. That was them trying to get it to be like, because the Game of the Year awards was 2 months later. So they were trying to get as many people to see the game as possible and get as many players as possible so that they could make it to the Game of the Year awards, which, I mean, I get it, but there's some stuff in the game that just got rushed.
Well,
Like-
Sony has to do something right with Spider-Man because they can't
They
seem to
did.
get movies right.
The games would be that. So like, why not just push it back a little bit?
I'm just saying.
Like Spider-Man 2's entire problem is that there's two major plot lines. There's the Kraven the Hunter plot line, which is probably the best Kraven the Hunter thing I've seen since 2008.
That's about to change.
Okay. Maybe.
Go on.
No. We'll see.
There's two things: the Kraven the Hunter, and then what?
And then Venom. And the problem with Venom is that could be done in its own game. And like not the whole setup of the symbiote. Like the Peter symbiote arc being tied to Kraven the Hunter was a really smart move. That all works. Everything there works. The problem is you get to a certain point in the game and you're just kind of like, okay, are we handling the Venom stuff in another game? Is Venom going to be the bad guy of another game? Or is he going to be the bad guy of this game? And he feels like he should be the bad guy of the sequel. Because the problem is that he is super underdeveloped. And then you just rush straight to his ending. Like you spend like 2 acts of the game with fighting Kraven and Peter in the symbiote suit. And those are 2 major parts of the game. And then the third act of the game, they have not really done anything with Harry Osborn, who is Venom in the game. They haven't really done anything with him, except that he has the same illness from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So they haven't really done anything with him. And then all of a sudden at the end, he turns Venom, he kills Kraven, and then he turns the entirety of New York into a city of symbiotes. And then you have to go stop him. And that's the third act of the game. And it rushes straight to that. Like there's no break in between. It's not dragged out to the same length of Act 1 and Act 2. It is just really short. You do a few missions here and then bam.
So they ran out of time and budget.
I would say they ran out of time, not budget. I think they had the budget because they had a budget cut content. I think what happened is they told Sony, this will be out by 2024. If to fully get everything we want done in the game, this has to be out by 2024. And Sony said, we want this out in the 2023 Game of the Year awards. And they were like, well, here's what we have to cut to get that to happen. And Sony said, good, do it.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, we know that they have cut and trashed and ruined everything related to Spider-Man that doesn't have Spider-Man in it. Venom 1, 2, and 3 are the trash movies of all time.
Whoa.
Madam Web didn't deserve to be put on a screen. But, like you said, Kraven the Hunter was the best part of that game. And I'm really excited for Kraven the Hunter, the movie that comes out on Thursday.
Venom wasn't that bad.
Venom was horrible.
No, Venom the movie
was horrible.
Venom was good.
No, it was bad. It was really bad. It's really dumb when Venom is like, I can make myself into any kind of weapon that you can think of, but all I can really make is a sword. And the other guy comes in and he's like, oh, I can turn myself into nuclear missiles and helicopters and submarines.
Comic accurate.
It doesn't matter. It's stupid.
He can't make weapons. Venom doesn't do that.
It's stupid.
He does get wings.
It's stupid.
I don't know what you want me to say. Like, that's
the other Venom could become everything.
He's not Venom.
He could become
His name
nothing.
is Riot, and he's a completely different character, and he can do some of those things. So that's how that works.
That's dumb.
It's symbiote lore. I don't know.
They're all symbiotes.
I
they
don't
all
know
can be what they want to be.
They all have different lore. They have different abilities. They don't all function the same.
That's dumb.
Like Phage has like electrical ability. Like
they have a hive mind. They should all be able to do all the same things.
That's not how that works.
That is exactly
Their
how that
bodies
works.
aren't attached to the hive minds.
That's stupid. And you know it's stupid.
It's
and that's why
cool.
Venom 2 is stupid. And Venom 3 is stupid.
No, Venom 3 is boring. It's not stupid. It's just its plot takes too long to get to the point. No,
and Madam Web was stupid.
Venom 2 is fun. I don't know. I think you just don't like fun because Carnage was a fun villain.
I don't like fun.
Also,
it must be
Woody Harrelson as Come on, like that was good.
Awful. Okay, it was good.
And you
awful.
like Woody Harrelson. What's wrong with you?
All of that being said, I'm excited for Kraven the Hunter. The first 8 minutes are out. If you go and look them up, you can Google Kraven the Hunter, the first 8 minutes. And while I was holding some reservations, I was sitting here going, Sony screws up everything. So I can't get excited about Kraven the Hunter, even though I love Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's great as Quicksilver.
I've never seen Kick-Ass, so I have no idea what he's like.
I have enjoyed him in everything I've ever seen, and I watched the first 8 minutes of Kraven the Hunter, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely going to deserve a shot. That's not to say that Sony can't mess it up after the first 8 minutes, but the first 8 minutes is good. It's really good.
See, I think, does he fight a giant mutated rhino in the first 8 minutes?
No.
See, and I think that's where the movie's going to fall apart.
He goes to prison in the first 8 minutes.
Bane?
No.
Like Bane? Like
no, I tell you what's going to happen. I'll tell you because it's out. So anybody who wants to watch it can watch it. It's not going to spoil the movie. So I'll tell you what happens. He is known as the Hunter. And they basically acknowledge that nobody knows who he is, just that he exists. And a lot of people don't even think he exists. They think he's a myth. But there's a corrupt prison warden in Russia And he goes to that prison. He gets himself arrested and goes to that prison. And he gets bunked with a guy that nobody wants to get bunked with. And the guy says, nobody stays here. I kill them all. And he's like, I'll be gone in 3 days. And within that 3-day period, he gets in fights with some inmates, gets himself sent to the warden, and then kills the warden. And then has to escape the prison without getting caught.
So,
And in the process, he tells the warden, I hunt people. The warden's like, who are you? He's like, I'm Craven. I hunt people like you. And the warden's like, the hunter's a myth.
So-
And then he proceeds to kill him
so
and
his
other prison guards.
backstory is he's Russian John Wick.
Well, I think you get more backstory after the first 8 minutes of who he is. This is to get you excited about who he is. And then they'll give you the backstory. Because the fighting scene's cool. Some of the prison stuff is cool. These two guys walk up to him. He goes and sits down at a bench to bench. And he's lifting. And these two guys walk up and they're like, this is private space. And they start pushing the bar down on him like they're going to crush his chest with the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And he bench presses both of them holding the bar. It was really cool. He like lifts them up.
See,
It's pretty cool.
it sounds like Arrow's prison arc a little bit.
No. It's not that long, first of all, and it's also more fun. I promise you're gonna enjoy it the first 8 minutes. I want to play the trailer just because I'm excited about it. So we're gonna play the trailer real quick.
My son,
You guys can hear it. That's him in the prison.
the greatest.
You guys can hear it. You can't see it. This is him fighting, and his fighting is good. The fight scenes are good.
See,
And then he's got to escape the prison.
it's gonna sound really bad because I don't typically say stuff like this. But even if this movie ends up being good,
It's not going to make a difference for the Spider-Verse they're trying to create.
I kind of want it to fail.
No, I'm kind of with you.
Like, I don't really want this to succeed for the sole purpose of I really just want them to realize that they don't know how to make Spider-Man movies.
So here's what I have to say about it. There are a lot of movies that come out that turn out to be cult classics, that turn out to be good movies that aren't appreciated in the theater, and they don't succeed in the theater. I kind of hope this doesn't succeed in the theater. I kind of hope it fails in the theater, but is actually one of those good movies, because what I've seen of the first 8 minutes, and this trailer has me excited too. What I've seen has me excited about this movie.
I feel like Johnny Cash is a good luck charm. And the reason I say that is because Logan
Some kind of code.
was also really good.
You're just
Logan was a great
It
movie.
was a great
For sure.
for a trophy.
And
I don't think anybody argues that.
No, fantastic. X-Men movies suck, and Fox should have given up the rights a long time ago. But man, if they didn't have the rights, Logan never would have been made.
Embrace who you really are.
And I don't know if I could live in a world where Logan doesn't exist. As a
Oh, it isn't that serious.
It's that serious. That's a good movie.
He's not mechanical.
And you will become the legend.
What are you talking about?
He was CGI, but he's not mechanical.
What are you
They
talking
just showed the rhino.
Yeah, I said mutated.
I thought you said mechanical.
I said
rhino.
mutated.
Okay.
And I think that's where this movie is going to fall apart.
I don't know. That scene that they show in the trailer does not bother me at all.
It bothers me
Because
for-
I'm sorry, it doesn't bother me because I saw Spider-Man 2 or Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I love that version of the rhino. I don't know why you don't.
The one that looks like he's wearing aluminum around him, like
The one
aluminum
where-
panels.
No, the armor.
It looks stupid.
It looks cool. Like, I don't know what you
No, dude.
I don't see Rhino in a fucking cement suit working, which is what that is. It's like this weird thing made out of like flexible polycarbonate cement. It's awful. It looks dumb. I don't want that in real life.
Okay, the comics that I have read, the cartoons that I watched growing up, it's more accurate to have him in some kind of polycarbonate suit than in a metal tank that he wears.
I prefer the metal tank because it makes more sense.
Come on.
The problem...
It makes no sense.
It does. What are you talking... the only thing I could see it being a problem with is if you tied it back to Iron Man, he would just basically be Spider-Man's Crimson Dynamo, which is just the same thing. It's just Russian Iron Man.
No.
That'd be my only problem with it.
Because even Ironmonger was more sleek looking and cool looking. Excuse me, pardon me. Than that tank.
No.
Than that tank that was on the Rhino.
You missed what I was saying. No, Crimson Dynamo is an Iron Man villain.
I know who he is.
Yes, Russian Iron Man. Basically.
I know who he is.
Yes, I'm saying that's my only issue with him is that the Rhino machine would his whole character would basically be being Crimson Dynamo, but less interesting because Crimson Dynamo was forced in that suit.
The Rhino machine doesn't make any sense.
It made sense for the movie.
It's big and bulky and dumb looking.
It was an Oscorp military project. I don't know what you want from me. Like
I want a genius like Norman Osborn. God, what's wrong with me today? I'm thinking Oswald at Penguin because I'm trying to do the Penguin too. Norman Osborn to put together suits like Iron Man would that makes sense, not like some squared off. I call myself the Rhino, but it's really just a whole bunch of
what do you mean
aluminum panels.
It wasn't. Have you seen the suit?
Yes, I have. It's awful.
Oh my god, I'm gonna pick it because it is not that bad. Rhino.
I've got it right here, dude.
Panels. It doesn't look like that at all. I don't know what.
This is terrible. This is terrible.
What are you talking about? It looks like a mech suit. That's all it is. It's just a giant Rhino mech suit.
And it doesn't even look like a Rhino.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
I'm looking at it right here on the screen, dude.
That's when he's got the... Oh my god, that's when he's got the thing. He's like a transformer. You have to actually see the thing when it's put together. Oh my god. Hold on, because you're not even... When it goes down, right? That's what it looks like.
That doesn't look like a rhino.
Yes,
it looks like a hyena.
Well, okay, for some reason they put the horn down, but the horn's supposed to be up, facing like this.
It looks like a hyena.
It does not. It looks like a rhino.
No.
Looks like a giant mechanical rhino.
You know what looks like a rhino? That looks like a rhino.
He looks like a giant
rhino.
Is that the mutated one or is that classic one?
That's the video game rhino.
Let me see it. I can't see it from here. Oh, yeah. See, I mean,
that looks like a rhino.
For a video game, that looks cool. I can't see that. You have to... For Spider-Man, for the context of what Spider-Man is, he is a street-level superhero. If you try to tell me... You can't convince me on why this person looks like this in the MCU.
He's not, first of all, in the MCU.
I'm saying if you were to do this, if you were to do that version of Rhino and not the mechanical bull one, because at least in the MCU, I can understand it being like stolen Stark tech being put together because Vulture did that already. You know, I can.
If you make him a mutant, it makes sense. What? If you make him a mutant, it makes sense. That suit. It doesn't have to be a suit. It could just be his mutation. He could just be like the Bebop and Rocksteady.
I will never do the mutant storyline with Rhino. I hate it. They've already done it.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
They already did it in animation, and I hated it then, and I still hate it now. I will never do Rhino as a mutant. Also, because Sandman technically is, and he has a better arc. He actually becomes an Avenger in the comics. So
what? What does one have to do with the other?
I'm saying I don't want to follow a different character doing something similar to another character. Just do the character, but
there's
do it
a
the
whole
way that
bunch
makes
of mutants.
Sense. He's not a mutant.
Electro's a mutant.
He's not a mutant either.
Spider-Man's a mutant.
No, he's a mutate. Don't do this right now. Spider-Man is a mutate, X-Men are mutants. Do you know the difference?
There is no difference.
There's legitimately an actual difference in
There's
the Marvel
not.
universe. There is.
That's dumb.
Mutates are people who gain their powers from outside means. Mutants are people who were genetically born with superpowers. And humans are
That's stupid.
biogenetically engineered people.
No,
with
and humans are mutates.
No, they're not.
They have to be because they get their powers from an outside source.
Their DNA is altered, but they don't.
They're mutants who are mutates.
No, because
they're the cross between the two.
They're people who have been biogenetically engineered, but the difference is that they have to be awakened with their powers. They can't.
Right, by an
They
outside
can't
source.
be born with their powers. They're
So
not
they have
mutates
mutated.
and they're not.
So they have
mutants.
mutated DNA that has to be enacted on by an outside force, which makes them a mutated mutant.
No, they're
A
not
mutate
mutates.
mutant.
They're not mutates. They're inhumans.
They
There's
have to
different-
be.
No, there's a difference.
There's not.
The difference is who made them
It doesn't. They have altered DNA that makes them
by
a
the
mut-
Kree.
that makes them a mutant.
Oh my god.
It has to be enacted upon by an outside force. That makes them a mutate. So they're a mutate mutant. And you know I'm right.
They're inhumans. Just call them what they are, please.
Oh my God.
But yes, Spider-Man is not.
Marvel
a mutant.
tries too hard. And also he's mutated.
Well, they had to.
And
they-
this guy
they
could be
came-
mutated.
They came up with the distinction,
And Electro is mutated.
and they came up with the distinction to combat the idea that, like, why would people be upset because of the X-Men having superpowers? I don't really care if Spider-Man has superpowers. Well, it's because they were born with them, and they're being racist because they have a genetic gene that makes them superpowered. Versus Spider-Man, who was just a normal kid, or or Captain America, who got a super soldier serum, or Hulk, who got affected by. That's the
Also
difference.
mutants.
They're not mutants. They're mutates. And actually, Superman, Captain America doesn't count. Captain America doesn't count as a mutate because he's just a peak physical human. That's all he is.
Because of mutation,
No, because of super soldier serum.
which mutated his body.
It is still just, there's just several different distinctions.
Nevertheless.
There's humans, mutants, mutates,
And also Kraven the Hunter is a mutant.
no, he's
but-
not.
He's a mutate.
Yes. Well, actually,
But either way,
when does he count?
I'm
He's not a mutant.
taking this back.
Go for it.
I'm excited about this movie. It comes out Thursday. We, or at least me, if you are unable, but hopefully we are going to get to do a spoiler-free movie review the night of the opening. Thursday night, we'll release a spoiler-free review. It'll only be 5 or 10 minutes long. And then maybe 2 weeks later, we will release a full-blown review of Kraven the Hunter after people have had about 2 weeks to watch it. And we're going to start doing some movie reviews. We're going to keep discussing the shows that come out on Max. Penguin is coming. We know we're late, but we started this podcast late, so we have catching up to do on a lot of different things, Penguin included. Look forward to talking Creature Commandos and everything that James Gunn is doing. And looking forward to talking about Captain America in February. So along with Northwest Arkansas Comic-Con, we are based in Arkansas, and we will be at the Northwest Arkansas Comic-Con in January. So we're looking forward to talking about that as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed what you've heard so far. Do you have anything else you want to talk about today?
Trying to think. Because
I'm going to call that a no.
I don't know. I've off the top of my head, not really. I mean, we kind of went through everything.
Once again, if you liked what you heard today, if you don't mind listening to us argue just a little bit or something,
Sonic the Hedgehog
sometimes a
3
lot.
comes out on the 20th. Go watch
Gross.
it. It's really good.
Gross.
It's gonna be really good. Keanu Reeves,
So
Ben
sad.
Schwartz.
So sad he put his career on the line for that stupid movie.
It's not on the line, and it's such a good movie. And
Cameron
it's
will
gonna be,
also be reviewing that one all by himself.
It'll beat Kraven the Hunter at its box office numbers. If it doesn't, I will sell my left leg.
Whatever. Anyway, if you like what you've heard, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Be on the lookout. We're going to be continuing to drop episodes because we enjoy this, and hopefully you do too. All right. Have a great one. We're out.